Oh, where did I go?
Oh.
I'm not here. Okay, here I am. we were talking for so long, I decided to disappear on everybody.
They're gay.
Hello, chat. Hello.
Do I need to
Everything
reload
is
PNG
working
Tuber
this
Plus
time.
now? No? Okay.
Looks fine.
Yeah, it's just I can tell it's going slower than usual, but it's probably because of the game.
Really? Why would the game hasn't done that before, has it?
I mean, sometimes. Well, I mean, if you're okay with me disappearing again.
Yeah, just be that.
I'm still here. I'm gonna be really close up for a second. Don't worry. Okay.
Oh Lord.
Okay. That's just the game that's running like. Anyway. Okay, we're back. Jesus. After 10 million years, we arrive.
Yay.
Since yesterday. And the 10 million years in between. So
Yeah, we started talking about what was happening and then we didn't finish. So what happened last time?
So people got killed trying to figure out who it is. The servants and Maria were like, Beatrice exists, and the battler was like, you guys are dumb.
And then is it Battler's? Or no, sorry, George's parents went back to their room. Right?
Battler is still in the whatever room this is, right?
Yeah, well, before that, Aunt Natsuhi and Ava had a little kerfuffle. With Aunt Natsuhi bringing out her
She's like,
gun.
I'm gonna fucking shoot you!
Yeah.
Like a Sandy Hook or something.
Yeah, and then they defused that, and then they were like, okay, let's go our separate ways for the night.
Also, for Twitch, if you're listening, school shootings are bad and not funny.
Okay.
And I should not have said that. I'm very sorry. Please don't nuke us.
You said that.
Please don't nuke us, Twitch. I am. If you must cancel me, then so be it.
With jokes, then you shouldn't be managing an entertainment platform. Whoever hired you is an idiot. Whoever does that moderation.
See, now we're getting nuked for that.
Okay, let's play some UMINEKO, guys.
So is it Battler or is it not?
It's Battler.
Okay.
Clancy is a coomer. Anyway.
Clancy.
Have you seen that video? The CEO of Twitch?
No.
I saw the video of him doing a stream with Fillion.
Oh, God.
He did do that. That was actually pretty funny. But no, there was a thing where they were showing off new features and how there's like stories and people can put clips, like featured clips on their channels and stuff now. And all of the CEO of Twitch's shit was like Amaranth and titty streamers.
Oh, shit.
Nothing but titty streamers.
That's
and
crazy.
people were like, at least we understand now why that's surviving on the platform. It's because fucking Clancy is a coomer.
Let's go, Clancy. Let's go, Clancy.
Yeah, right.
Anyway.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Okay, so yeah, they were debating about Beatrice forever, and now it's hello Nix. Now it's just what, the kids and the servants?
Nix, you missed nothing. We were just recapping last time.
Yeah, pretty much. So we're just about to start. Okay. Hold on, let me water up. You said this is Battler, right? Okay.
It's time for everyone to gang up and just beat the shit out of Cannon.
Thank you for watering me. Oh my gosh, so much water. I need to move.
I'll drink water.
Yes.
Okay. Oh my god, let me do that. Okay. The uncomfortable atmosphere continued even after those two left. It was thick with the idea that simply thinking about the culprit's identity would be the same as deciding whom to suspect. It had begun to feel like discussion of the case was itself taboo. So no one mentioned the case, at least out loud. However, those thoughts were what filled our minds. All that we couldn't say aloud made our heads feel like they were going to explode. So at least on the outside, the parlor had once again regained its calm mood. Everything was left unsettled. Oh, that's what's wrong. I can't hear the music. I have your stream muted.
Yeah, there is no music though. It's just rain.
Yeah, but the ambiance.
True, the ambiance.
It feels like the rain's gotten a little lighter.
Still playing down.
Even if it did stop, there's no boat on this island. But it'd be nice if the boat came quickly tomorrow. I've had enough of this Western mansion vacation.
And my parents are dead. Mom, when will the boat come tomorrow? Normally, the boat to take them back would arrive at 3 o'clock today. They probably sent us a phone call to say that they would come after the typhoon passed, but unfortunately, the phones aren't working. But they aren't children over there. They were told both to drop off and collect our guests, so they will most likely arrive first thing tomorrow morning. Probably about 9, I believe.
It was completely black outside. When I looked at the clock, I realized that it was just past 7. I was starting to get hungry.
Uh-oh, hungies.
Eat your family. I mean...
Yeah, it turns into a cannibal story. Guys, have you ever heard of Saya no Uta?
Yeah!
When do we
I
stream
have
that
not.
game?
No.
Twitch would definitely nuke us for that.
Yeah, they would.
In the kitchen, Kumasawa was cooking enthusiastically. She had laid out a variety of dishes, and while they didn't match the level of Goda's artful cooking, they were still quite gorgeous. It was an act of kindness from Kumasawa, who was trying to enliven everyone's low spirits with some food. But she was far from unskilled. On the contrary, since she had been brought up in a fishing village, the simple food she created was sometimes highly praised.
Dude, why isn't your reactive pictures working? What the heck?
I don't know.
Wait, Shane,
not?
can you talk? Why is it only you? What happened in the 2 seconds, bro?
I don't know.
Okay, keep talking. Keep talking.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Okay, wait. Okay, yeah, because Battler's, like, looking into the kitchen, so, okay.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I question the perspective
fuck?
all the time.
Help.
You stopped hearing me for a second? Can you hear me now? Is
What
everything
is that?
fine now?
Everything's breaking! Everything's breaking!
Okay, well, Nick says it's fine, so I think it's
Not
fine.
just me.
No, I don't know. I literally opened the reactive images and then just changed back to Shane's old thing.
Oh, no. I am a cube.
No,
Oh, yeah.
Shane! Oh,
Little
what
cube
the
guy.
fuck? Why did it change back, dude? Oh, there. Oh!
He's been sealed in the cube.
No, it's okay. He's alive. He's alive.
Okay, my gosh, okay. They put me in the hypercube.
Okay, so I guess we're fine now?
I need to still fix yours. That was the problem.
But Nick said mine was working again, I thought. Or maybe not.
It's just.
I guess
it's
not.
Just, yeah, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. I get what they're saying.
What the frig? Anyway.
They have different levels of echo on this one, and this one just sounds like a bathroom.
Oh, yeah, like a shitty bathroom at the mall.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Just taking a piss, lady.
since your icon's just there, I'm gonna make nobody's dim. So, have fun with that.
So, what? What do you mean? What did you do?
I mean, I couldn't fix it. So.
Oh, yeah, but you fixed his. Okay.
No.
I understand.
His was already working.
Mine didn't.
Yeah, whatever, man. Whatever. I'm a JPEG. Fucking lame. You know, so one of these days, I really like to be rewarded for my efforts. You know, I'd really like to be seen as an equal part of this team. You know, I thought we were a team, guys, but you know, I understand. I guess I guess I'll be the only one who knows what it's like to be bound to the second dimension.
I'm trying to fix it, but I really don't know what's going on. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Weird. I don't know. You'll probably have to like reset the icons or something and like, you know, re-rig them or something like that.
Well, it's not me doing the rigging. I'm not doing the rigging. It's a website.
Oh yeah. Try leaving and coming back real quick. 'Cause
Perhaps.
Oh, yeah, we
off
didn't
of
try that.
Discord.
Hello?
Love...
You never
Oh.
know. Maybe that did something.
Oh my god, it did do something. You're just not bouncing anymore for some reason.
Oh, no, he is.
What? I am?
I see it on the stream.
Dude, I have no idea.
Oh wait, yeah, you are. Yay!
Oh, so yeah, it literally worked.
Can get the fucking
Well.
technical difficulties stop for 2 seconds, please? Ah.
Nice viewer retention.
All right, cool.
See, that's why I broke
Okay.
out the silly voice.
Thank you,
funny
Shane.
mic to keep people entertained.
Thank you, Shane. I appreciate you.
All right, so we're on this one. Cannon arranged the food Kumasawa had finished creating on plates under her direction. Cannon also helped in the kitchen sometimes, but since he was rarely placed in that role, he was slightly awkward, even though he tried his best. Self-conscious about the fact that he couldn't cleverly arrange the food, Cannon's expression darkened slightly. But Kumasawa smiled as though everything was fine.
Oh, it's arranged beautifully. Cannon-kun are too skilled.
If it had been Shannon
Oh.
Mason, it would look even more beautiful.
Oh.
Cannon stopped arranging the food for a bit and hung his head. Shannon was the one who always assisted Kumasawa in her cooking. Tonight, Cannon was doing it instead. And as he remembered Shannon's
Oh,
face
no.
and her brutal end, he grimaced.
Hi, third-person narrator.
Is it?
Yeah.
I can't tell.
How? Wait, when did it tell us that?
It was probably because Battler was not in the room with anybody here.
I thought it made it.
Yeah, I
seem
swear
like
to
he
God, it
said
was
he went
speaking-
hungry, and then it's kitchen.
Yeah, I swear it was speaking in eyes earlier too, was it not?
No, not for the past, couple paragraphs.
That's so fucking misleading, bro. I'm hungry. Next scene is in the kitchen, but Battler is
Yeah.
not there. Are you for real?
Forget that now.
I'm Genji!
What
Stop
shit?
it.
Oh, I thought that was the other guy. My bad.
I hate you, dude. You can't read. What the frick, man?
Oh,
Everybody
so-
lock the fuck in. This
so
is
It
serious.
third person or
Yes,
is it
it's
not?
third
Yes,
person.
it is. It is.
Okay.
Everybody lock in.
Genji spoke kindly to Cannon as he advanced upon. Nanjo had escaped from the parlor once the mood had grown sour, and Genji had become his opponent in a game of chess upon Nanjo's request.
Vroom.
Yes, I will forget it for now.
Indeed, that is probably for the best.
Genji purposefully refrained. Nope. Come on, let's go. Okay. Genji purposefully refrained from facing Cannon as he spoke. I have to turn the music down.
I think you gotta turn yourself up a little bit too.
Why am I so quiet these days?
I don't
all of a
know.
sudden? What's going on? I didn't do it.
You're just a little quiet guy.
I cranked it the other night. It's fine. Let me try. How's that better?
It's better.
That better?
Yeah,
that
better.
worked.
Yeah, that better. That
worked
worked.
for
Yeah,
you.
that better. That worked.
How about that? That
Yeah,
better.
yeah, yes, yes.
Okay. Nanjo also understood that and held back any thoughtless words.
I wonder where Kinzo-san has gone. I hope that he is safe, but...
I do not know. However, I believe everything has proceeded as the Master has hoped and arranged for. To distrust that would exceed my role as furniture in service to the Master.
Aren't you scared, Genji-san? I'm frightened that something bad will occur again tonight.
I have nothing to be afraid of. I serve the Ushinomiya family, and that is all.
Nanjo sighed through his nose and made a carefully considered move.
I tried to sight through my nose.
I think that's just fucking dumb.
Oh my god.
Nanjo was very slightly dubious. Could Genji possibly be thinking that he'd be left out of this? He couldn't even imagine what was happening inside the mansion. But he definitely couldn't deny the possibility that Kinzo had devised something. If you liken this island to chess, Kinzo had opened the game, and as a result, 6 pieces had been defeated. Could it be that Genji was calm because he believed he alone was on the outside of the chessboard and therefore safe? Nanjo thought about it. Isn't everyone just a piece on this chessboard lined up equally without any exceptions? It wasn't even Genji who had gained more of Kinzo's trust than anyone. No, who was confident of his position as Kinzo's only close friend. Just another one of the pieces laid out on the chessboard.
Genji-san, I am truly frightened about tonight. I hope with all my heart that we will still be safe when tomorrow morning comes. Man, me too.
I don't know. I don't think everyone's going to be safe.
The guest room Eva and Hideyoshi moved into had originally been built to... Oh, my brain. What? The guest room Eva and Hideyoshi moved into had originally been built to guest... What?
To
Built
house
Guess.
Oh, built to house guests before the guest house's construction.
The house guest before the
Sorry,
guest
that-
house.
That... Some word all at once, my brain was just like...
Yeah, it was a little Freudian moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, until a few years ago, they had stayed in the rooms every family conference and were familiar with them. This room was just like a room at a hotel, with a bedroom and a bathroom. So even though they were still shut in, it was far more comfortable than the parlor.
Because it's true you can relax more when you're alone with your family. Maybe it'd be better if everyone else also shut themselves in guest rooms and locked the doors.
Natsuhine-san said that no one could leave the parlor, throwing her weight around. I'm sure no one will be able to talk back. She's always been treated so coldly. So now that Nisan's dead, she's getting excited about finally having so much power.
I don't think she's excited about anything.
Seriously, how shameless can she be?
I think she's actively having a panic attack and you're just kind of...
Come now, don't say that. Natsuhi-san's doing pretty well. No need to jump on her like that. And about that receipt earlier, you went too far.
Come on. If I hadn't said it there wouldn't be another good time to say it.
Ava, sulking cutely and looking at the television, sat alongside Hideyoshi, who was lying on the bed.
Still, we haven't been alone like this for quite some time.
You're right. Come to think of it, both you and I have gotten pretty old. Since George was born, everything's gone by in the blink of an eye.
It really has. I wonder if we were too hasty in having a child.
Ava's eyes looked like they were staring off into the distance. Yes, she had thought of it as a once-in-a-lifetime chance. Her older brother Kraus had been unable to father a child for quite some time. 6 years passed after his marriage to Natsuhi without any signs of pregnancy, which didn't please Kinzo at all. Ava herself had thought that since her name would be moved outside the Yoshiromiya register when she got married anyway, it didn't matter whether a successor to the headship was born or not. And then one day, she had a heavenly revelation. Or maybe it was the whisperings of the devil that she had listened to in her greed. If she could give birth to a successor first, wouldn't she be able to remain in the Yoshiromiya family register? If things went well, she might have had a chance to inherit the Yoshiromiya family herself. When she proposed this to Hideyoshi, he had approved of it instantly. This wasn't because Hideyoshi also had greedy thoughts. For Hideyoshi, who had no close relatives, it was a chance for him to feel once more the long-forgotten thing called family. So, when they'd gotten married, he hadn't fussed over which last name they were to keep, and quickly agreed to have his name entered into the Yoshiromiya family register. It hadn't been easy to persuade Kinzo, but as his daughter, Ava knew Kinzo's personality well. So, by choosing the time when Kinzo was most dissatisfied with Natsuhi, she was magnificently able to make him accept Hideyoshi as an adopted son-in-law. Looking at Hideyoshi, who had achieved success after starting from nothing, Kinzo might have seen a little bit of himself. He quickly grew to like Hideyoshi and approved his transfer into the Yoshiromiya family register. George would eventually become the successor to the Yoshiromiya family. They had raised him strictly with that purpose in mind. He had been worth their while and had grown into a fabulous young man who wouldn't disappoint no matter where he went. That was why he had not been permitted to fall in love with a servant like Shannon. So when he'd learned that Shannon was dead and the engagement was now invalid, though part of her had been shocked by the gruesome crime, part of her had also been relieved that her dear George wouldn't be stolen by some servant girl.
Bitch! Anyway, hi, Adam. Bitch. I have hated Kraus Nissan since long ago.
Wow.
He was so full of himself. Always swaggering around, fuck. So proud that he would one day become the head. So I wanted to get back at him. Was that just a childish emotion? But in the end, that emotion guided my entire life. If that had been all, then it would have been fine.
How can you
Because
be
of
this
that
self-aware
emotion.
and still such a bitch?
But because
Yeah,
of that
right?
emotion, I got you and George involved. I used you. Oh god. Sorry.
Some don't blame yourself, yeah.
Yeah.
Hideyoshi got up and held Ava's shoulder. She could feel a warm understanding from him.
Well, I reached the halfway point in my life long ago. But you know, I have absolutely no regrets about how I've lived my life. Not one. I think that since I've been with you, Ava, I've been able to relish an enjoyable life that other men never will. After I lost my relatives in the war, you reminded me what the warmth of family is. So I'm grateful to the Ushinomiya family and think of it as my only one. In this life I've led with you, not a single thing's been wasted. It's really been a till today.
Thank you. Darling.
Ava hung her head, burying her face in Hideyoshi's chest. Probably, no one in the parlor could even imagine that this side of Ava existed.
I'm the one who should be thanking you. Until today, there hasn't been a single day I've regretted being with you.
Me too.
He regrets
I'm
today.
so
Well,
glad.
why?
I'm so glad to have you by my side.
George is already a fine adult. Even if I don't look out for him, he's a man who could do a job well on his own. I wonder, around New Year's, you want to go spend some time in the Maldives? Just us, no one else.
Maldives.
No way. Aren't you always saying that you're so busy responding to New Year's cards that you don't even sleep?
None of that this New Year's. I won't read New Year's cards. I'll just stay quiet and check to see if I've won the New Year's lottery. It'd sure be nice if we won a color TV this year.
No
What the fuck?
way. I don't want to waste time checking the lottery while in the Maldives.
Then none of that either. How does that sound? Just the two of us, taking it easy like when we were newlyweds, just before George was born.
Yes. In that case, fine.
I hear the Maldives are wonderful. An island with nothing on it, surrounded by what? What's so funny?
No, Adam said, and a little pagan.
Oh, yeah.
and a little pagan.
Surrounded by beautiful coral reefs and cottages lined up over the water.
Like we were newlyweds, you say? Starting when?
Soon as I've finished up some business. I don't know till I ask the travel agency, but probably before New Year's Eve.
No way. Right now. I want to go right now.
There's a typhoon. We're stuck on an island.
Oh.
There's a murderer. I don't think that's good.
Ava nagged at his lips in a peevish, flirtatious manner.
Nagged at his lips?
I don't know, that's what it says. Don't
Okay.
ask me.
Whatever that
Alright.
means.
She did it.
The only sounds that filled the room were the distant voice of the announcer on the news, which Hideyoshi had left on, and the obnoxious pounding of the rain against the window.
In the bed. Adam really likes Hideyoshi a lot. Oh. Knock, knock, knock.
There was a knock on the door, and Genji-san entered.
Madam, dinner has been prepared. Will you eat in here again?
Yes. Have it brought here. Is Dr. Nanjo still in the kitchen?
Yes. He said he wishes to carefully deliberate over his next move. Do not worry. He is with the other servants.
Kenji-san's good enough at chess to be grandfather's opponent. I hear he's even better than Dr. Nanjo, right?
That's right. Long ago he played against me, but he must have let me win.
Maria, sounds like it'll be time to eat soon. But look at you, you've been watching TV all day long, and you still haven't gotten bored.
I'm always watching TV, so I'm fine.
Yeah, brain rot.
Maria-chan sure is a TV kid.
Look at iPad
Dumbass.
kid. Food's coming, so you have to clean up the table.
Okay.
Valentine.
I know what's happening this time. Earlier, we had torn several pages out of Maria's notebook, and there was now a mess where everyone had been drawing together. Jessica began cleaning that up quickly. Still, everyone here can really draw. I never guessed.
Genji, ask Ava-san and Hideyoshi-san whether they'd at least like to have dinner with us, although they will probably turn us down.
Certainly.
First father, and now Ava-san. It's quite hard to gather everyone to the Ushinomiya dinner table. Oh.
Natsuki felt her headache start throbbing again and lightly held her temples.
Third person!
I imagine, yeah.
Yay!
The distance from the kitchen to the parlor wasn't that great, so Genji had gone and come back by himself. But the guest room was a little farther away. Natsuki had warned him to avoid being alone whenever possible. And just now, Nanjo had also admonished him, saying it would be better if he held a little more concern for his safety. Kanon accompanied Genji, and the two of them went to visit Ava and Hideyoshi in their guest room. They're gonna be dead, aren't they?
They're gonna be fucking, I
Ruh-roh.
think.
Fucking or dead. Or fucking dead.
Or fucking dead? Okay.
Yeah. Or dead fucking.
Oh.
Genji knocked on the door.
Eva-sama, Hideyoshi-sama,
And
dinner
forgot
has been
until the
prepared.
next day. He waited a short while for them to come out, but there was no response.
Kenji-sama, look at this.
Kanon pointed under the door.
Uh-oh!
A Western envelope had been inserted under it. Normally, when something was inserted this way, it would be interpreted as a message from someone outside to someone in the room. So, since this might be a private note meant for Ava and Hideyoshi, it was not something that Kanon and Genji were supposed to take interest in. But this Western envelope was one of Kinzo's, the same kind as the one Maria had taken out last night, and surprised everyone with.
There can be no mistake. It is one of the master's envelopes.
What could it be?
Even though this was one of Kinzo's envelopes, the letter Maria read out loud the previous night hadn't come from Kinzo. Genji continued knocking a little harder and called out in a loud voice.
Eva-sama! Eva-sama! It is Genji. Are you there? Please answer, Eva-sama!
But there was no response from inside. Sometimes when the servants went to call some guests for a meal, the guests would be sleeping so deeply that they wouldn't wake up. In times like that, the servants would stick a letter in the door to show that it was time to come out and leave the guest be. But despite that, Genji beat even harder on the door and called out Eva's name. However, there was no answer.
Oh my gosh, Vroom.
Yeah.
Cannon stuck his ear up to the door, held his breath, and listened for any sounds coming from inside.
I hear something that sounds like the television, but I don't sense anyone. The room might be empty.
Genji took out a handkerchief and, careful not to touch it with his bare hands, gently pulled out the envelope that had been stuck under the door. It was sealed with deep red sealing wax. Without a doubt, from the mark on the sealing wax had come from the Yoshiromiya family head's ring.
Eva-sama! Eva-sama! Please answer! Are you still in your room?
But there was still no answer. There was a chance that those two were aimlessly walking around the mansion. This was the home Eva had grown up in. There was plenty of reason to think she had gone out on a casual stroll. He groped around in his pocket, pulled out the bundle of keys, which contained the key that would open the guest room.
Genji-sama?
Cannon also understood what this meant. They would sometimes unlock the door so they could go in and do things like make the beds, but only after they made sure the guests were out. To unlock the door for any other reason, and especially do so when there was a chance the guests hadn't given permission and might still be in there, was an action unbecoming of a servant. But Genji had decided. If the only problem had been that this knock hadn't received a reply, he wouldn't have gone this far. But the envelope under the door was doubtlessly one of Kinzo's, or rather, one of the Western envelopes the Yoshiromiya family had. After last night, the sender of this envelope could be someone other than Kinzo. If this letter had been sent by someone else.
Eva-sama! My apologies. Allow me to enter your room.
After giving that final notice, Genji stuck one of the keys from the bundle into the keyhole.
Oh boy!
There was the sound of the door unlocking. And, after slowly turning the knob, he slowly started opening the door. Light seeped through the crack of the door. Were they in the room? Or had they forgotten to turn out the lights? It was the sound of the door chain being pulled tight. The chain had been secured. The chain couldn't be secured from the outside, so it also proved that they were in the room. The sound of voices on the TV seeped out of the room. The lights, the chain, and the TV. All of these things made it clear they were in the room, but there was no sign of it. Genji called to Eva once again through the crack of the door, but there was no answer.
Genji-sama, what should we do?
As a part of the job, the servants were able to unlock almost any lock in the mansion. But they had no way to open a door with a chain. The only way to get by the chain was to cut it. That was certainly not permitted as part of a servant's usual work. A creepy chill had already rushed up their backs. Cannon held his breath again and tried to sense someone through the door, but even so, he was not able to sense anyone.
I will call Madam and return. Cannon, cut the chain.
Yes.
As Cannon heard a way to get a cutting tool, Genji called him to a stop.
Wait, Cannon. Turn to the kitchen and take Kumasawa with you. You must not act alone.
Yes, certainly.
It looked like Canon was wondering why he had to do something so troublesome in the middle of this urgent situation. But Genji had said it out of wariness. He didn't care what happened to himself. But in the worst case scenario, he didn't want to have anything happen to Canon.
Guys, I think they're dead.
In the kitchen, Kumasawa was piling food on the serving cart. And Nanjo was waiting for Genji, apparently wanting to show him a move he'd finally thought up that might turn the tables on him. But Genji's appearance immediately told him that something was wrong.
Oh, what has happened, Genji-san?
Dr. Nanjo, my apologies, but please allow this match to be suspended for the time being. Canon, take care of the chain. Kumasawa, stop setting up dinner for now and accompany Canon. I will go over to Madam. If you would come with me, Dr. Nanjo.
Has something happened?
Genji took Nanjo, who didn't know what was going on, and quickly left the kitchen.
Kumasawa-san, my apologies, but please come with me.
What has happened, Kanon-san?
Kumasawa said almost exactly the same thing as Nanjo, unable to take the situation in, chase after Canon, who had flown out into the hallway. Taking Kumasawa with him, Canon went to a storage room and looked through the tools packed in the toolboxes hanging all over the walls, trying to find something that he could use to cut the chain.
What are you looking for? Let me help too.
We're cutting a door chain. Where was that large wire cutter?
A door chain? Why would you do something like that?
The chain to Eva-sama and Hideyoshi-sama's room. Even though they should be inside, they didn't answer when we called them.
It took Kumasawa some time to figure out how cutting the chain and Eva and Hideyoshi not answering were connected, but she did realize that this was an urgent situation.
That one will probably do the trick.
Canon took down a very large wire cutter that had been hanging on the wall. It had been called a cutter, but it'd be easier to understand if we said it was shaped like a large pair of pliers. Yes, we all know what a fucking wire cutter is. Canon remembered once being warned that this dangerous tool could easily cut through one of your fingers. Canon took that and rushed up the stairs. He already knew instinctively. He should fight for every minute, every second to open it quickly. Or perhaps it was already...
Please wake Kanon-san!
Hurry!
Kumasawa eventually caught up with him, gasping for breath, with both hands on her knees.
Imagine she like died.
Oh my god.
From exertion, just...
Yeah, because she's too old.
When Canon changed his grip on the wire cutters and looked up at the door, he let out an struck speechless.
He's like,
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
What is this? Eep.
Eep.
Kumasawa screamed weakly, her face pallid. That was no surprise, because right there on the door, just like the magic circle that had been drawn on the shutter of the Rose Garden storehouse, there was another eerie shape drawn with a blood-like paint. However, it would be odd to call this one a magic circle, because unlike what most people would expect, it wasn't a circle with shapes drawn inside it, but a slightly more complicated geometrical shape. However, those strange characters filling the gaps, which weren't from the alphabet, were the same kind as the ones on the magic circle on the shutter. But the thing that had Canon struck speechless wasn't how eerie the magic circle was. It was something like this hadn't been here. It was that something like this hadn't been here a short while ago. First, he'd taken a trip back to the kitchen. After that, he'd gone to the storage room to grab a tool and headed right back. Put those together and it couldn't have been more than 5 minutes. How could someone add something this creepy during that period of time? As though it had just been drawn, almost like the door itself was bleeding. Several unsettling vertical red lines slowly dripped down, getting longer and longer.
Yeah.
See, she's dead.
Kumasawa's knees gave way, and she sank down on the spot. Kumasawa hadn't done this first, then Canon truly would have wanted to.
Beatrice Sama.
It's the work of Beatrice Sala! How horrid! How horrid!
I thought you guys are supposed to be her freaking best friends.
Canon gulped, then readied the wire cutter and approached the door. He didn't want to get close to this disturbing magic circle. He really didn't want to touch this steadily dripping substance that looked like blood. But if he didn't get close, he wouldn't be able to cut the chain. Fighting this cold feeling, he gulped again. After gathering his courage, he went even closer, putting the wire cutter up against the chain. He then pressed with all of his strength, managing to cut through the chain far more easily than he anticipated. The cut chain fell into 2 separate parts, which continued to clang as they swayed back and forth.
Canon-chan, there's an envelope by your feet, and isn't that the master's?
It looked like Kumasawa had also noticed the western envelope at the bottom of the door, and the sealing marks that had been sealed with the head's ring. Canon hesitated for a second over whether he should open the letter first or check inside the room. But he eventually decided on fulfilling his original purpose. Canon pulled a handkerchief out of his pocket. This was so he wouldn't leave fingerprints on the door. If his worst fears were realized, the police would want to investigate this room too. He slowly pushed the door open. He was able to more clearly hear the sound of the television, which had been seeping out faintly this whole time.
Eva-sama?
Eva was lying face up on the bed. On the bed with her shoes still on. Kumasawa, who had fearfully entered after Canon,
What?
who was shut up, hiding behind his back, screamed a short eek again when she saw something.
Ava. Yep.
Yeah, sure. Eva's shoes had been the first part that Canon had seen, so the oddness of wearing shoes in bed was the first thing to strike him. But when Eva's head shifted into his line of sight, Canon couldn't help but let out a short scream like Kumasawa. Right in the middle of Ava's forehead, something had been placed. Something was growing there? No. Right in the center of her forehead was an old-fashioned knife. That or something like a weapon like it was sticking out.
Oh my god, more people are dead.
Guys, I think you're dead.
Dude, does the witch show up like at the end or something? There's gonna be no fucking
Dude.
characters left by the time she gets here.
At the
Build up.
base where it was struck, blood red dripped down, staining the sheets on the other side bright red.
I mean, don't you remember this whole ritual was for her to be revived?
But who are the characters gonna be when everybody's dead?
Well,
Kinzo. It's just gonna be
only
Kinzo.
Yeah, then it becomes a regular dating sim and we start playing as Kinzo.
Starts playing the Doki Doki Literature Club
Yeah.
music.
Yes. He's like, look, everyone will see this. This is Monica.
Only Kenzo. Only Kenzo.
I have a computer now.
I'm playing Minesweeper business.
Do you like manga? Kumasawa's knees gave way once more, and she sank down on the floor.
Oh yeah, they're dead.
Yeah,
Womp womp. I don't care.
This music though, it's fucking.
her mouth kept flapping open and closed. She couldn't even scream. Ava was dead, with some kind of weapon sticking out of her forehead. Both eyes were open wide. The image of the person who killed her must have been burned into them. But the only mouth capable of naming that person had been shut for all eternity.
Oh my god.
Even though her forehead was the last place they wanted to look, they couldn't tear their eyes from it. Right there, the weapon was stuck into Ava's forehead, standing out almost perfectly upright. And on the handle was a complicated design which you wouldn't expect to see on an ordinary weapon. That thing could be summed up with the word occult. It was a vulgar object with a design that might have been some demon.
What about Hideyoshi-sama? Hideyoshi-sama!
Eva was on top of her bed, but the other bed was empty. Where was Hideyoshi? After taking a backwards glance at Kumasawa, still on her knees and stupefied, he checked the bathroom just in case. At the moment he opened the door, he was greeted by steam and the sound of the shower. The bathroom.
Oh, dude, they definitely
Full of
fucked and she
Yeah.
got killed while he was in the bathroom.
Same familiar style as most hotel bathrooms. When taking a shower, a waterproof curtain was used to keep water from flying out. Yes, that's how shower. Oh, fuck.
Oh my god,
no,
he's
he
kind of
did.
naked. Adam, look, he's kind of naked. Oh.
Did they like drill into his forehead or something?
Don't look at down there, Adam. Look at the other part.
You're supposed to pierce the heavens, not this dude's forehead.
Damn.
That waterproof curtain was half open. And lying, tumbled down in the bathtub was Hideyoshi, completely naked, with both eyes open. And pointing right at Cannon. Just like Ava, a weapon with a demon-like design was stuck into his forehead.
Yeah, you really, really wanted him to be pegged, dude. He got pegged in the forehead.
He got penetrated.
No way. Hello, Layla.
Hi,
You
Layla.
picked a really interesting time to join.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Well, this man's dead. Since his head had been under the shower's hot water this whole time, his face itself wasn't half covered in filthy blood like Ava's had been. But the sight of him dead, while still taking a shower, was tragic enough. Just then, they heard Natsuhi's voice coming from the hall. She was probably coming with Genji.
She was. Again
Alright,
with this
bro.
graffiti. What about this letter? What does it say inside?
I don't know. I haven't read it yet.
We shouldn't touch it so carelessly. The culprit's fingerprints might be left on it. We should hand it over to the police. They went out of their way to leave it here. I'm sure they wouldn't have left fingerprints.
As Natsuhi said that, she picked up the envelope. And before checking its contents, she entered the room herself, where she found Ava dead.
She's like,
Ava-san!
Adam, Hideyoshi-sama is here too.
Oh. Jump scare.
oh, look at him.
This is truly atrocious.
No,
Ugh. Cannon, turn off the shower. Don't let this be any more pitiful than it needs to be.
But he's dirty.
All right.
Cannon gripped his handkerchief and twisted the valve, turning off the shower. In the bathtub, a small jar of body soap had fallen with its cap off. It really looked like he'd been attacked while taking a shower. There was still a small splash of blood clinging to the white bathtub. The combination of red and white made a horrible contrast.
Imagine he got pegged in the Weenor. Oh,
The Weenor! Oh!
I love our chat, guys.
Yeah.
Dr. Namjo.
I understand. No signs of post-mortem lividity. Rigor mortis hasn't begun either. It would seem that an hour or so has passed since they were killed. But even so, how a weapon with such a short handle could do that to the skull? I cannot imagine.
Nunjo checked their pulse and their pupils, making certain of their deaths once more. As Cannon watched this business-like treatment, he thought, couldn't you tell at a glance they're dead without doing all that? Nunjo thought about removing the weapon, but then decided it'd be better to preserve the scene and hand it over to the police, so he left it alone. But a close inspection of the base showed that it didn't have a blade. In fact, it was more conical than blade-shaped. He noticed that rather than a knife, it was more like a short, handed spear. Something with a shape better suited for thrusting and slicing.
Anyway.
It seems these
You're
rich
gross.
people have never heard of a fucking shank. Rather than a short spear, you might call it a thick ice pick or a shank. At any rate, after looking at this scene, no further words were needed to describe what sort of terrible purpose such eerily designed weapons were originally made for. Nor was it necessary to explain how they carried out their function.
In the way that we just did.
Exactly.
You know, to shank. Natsuhi hoped to escape the repulsive steam filling the bathroom as soon as she could. Covered her mouth in a handkerchief and dashed from the room. Just viewing their gruesome bodies for an instant had been enough to burn the image into her eyes.
To be honest, compared to the last guys, they got it pretty easy.
If
True.
she looked any longer, that image would surely remain in her vision for all eternity.
Because, bro, they got fucking, like, brutalized,
Yeah.
like, fucking had their faces torn off and shit. Bro,
Yeah.
they, one stab right to the brain, instantly dead.
Yeah.
And also
Pretty
they got to
merciful,
fuck right
actually.
before.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
did
right?
also
Like,
get fucked.
quite merciful by the killer, actually.
Beatrice W.
Beatrice W chat? Can we get a Beatrice W?
Beatrice W?
W.
W
Rising
woman,
Edge.
L
Dude.
man.
She waited for them to fuck, and then she killed them. How nice. How
Rising
benevolent.
urge to vomit was exactly the same feeling she'd had that morning at the garden storehouse. For a while, Natsuhi couldn't help but stand with her back facing the guest room, fighting that sickness in her stomach.
At any rate, we can't let the children.
And
We can't let George Coon see this room.
I was gonna say, isn't that immediately when they'd pull up and be like, "What happened?"
Hey guys! Seal this room with all haste. Yes, we mustn't let them see. If George's son saw how his parents in his if George's son saw his parents in this
Okay.
brutal state.
But they could tell that those fiercely racing footsteps in the hallway belonged
Oh,
to George,
no!
even before he came dashing into the room.
George,
I
no!
fucking knew it. George and the other children had been waiting in the parlor. However, when they saw Genji speak to Natsuhi, they saw her turn pale, fly out of the parlor. They'd felt a sense of foreboding. And when they saw a large group of people gathered around the guest room, they were sure of it. Father! Mother!
What is this?
They're dead.
Another magic circle? Yeah, you're quiet, Maria.
Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi are safe, right? Hey, Cannon-kun! What's this all about? Peddler-sama. Damn, look at him, bro.
He's like, oh!
Didn't have to say anything. George's scream after he ran into the room told them everything they needed to know. Who did this?
Oh,
I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
George Coon. Hang in there.
Is it Battler now?
No, it just says Nazi, not Aunt, not to me.
Oh,
not
true. That's how you know.
Yeah.
Natsu, he touched George's shoulder with a hand, but he violently shook her off. George fell over beside Ava, buried his face in the bed in front of his mother's face, wailing.
Man.
He pounded the bed with his fist over and over again.
George Nissan. Hang in there. Battler?
Battler-sama.
Battler had his back against the wall of the hallway and was covering his eyes with his right hand, weeping without restraint.
Manly tears.
Horrible. That's horrible. He proposed to the girl he loved and lost her the next day. On the same day, even his mom and dad were killed. Isn't that too harsh?
Of course, it's sad whenever anyone dies, no matter who it is. But to Battler, those left alone by the deaths of others were far more worth of pity. Everyone here now had lost someone close to them. George wasn't the only one to be pitied. However, George's pain was far greater than everyone else's.
Battler.
I know. Everyone dies sooner or later. If you're a human, you'll eventually reach a time when you've got to fight the sorrow of losing someone close to you. But still, shouldn't that day be far in the future for Aniki? And shouldn't those deaths visit him one at a time? Horrible, it's too horrible! That bastard! That bastard! Doesn't he have even a speck of human sympathy in him? Ah!
Valerie, don't cry. Don't cry. No, don't
Maria
cry.
tried to
Don't
comfort
cry.
Battler in a mechanical-sounding voice. Battler violently wiped his tears.
Yeah, damn it. I won't cry anymore! Tears of regret, tears of sadness, I won't shed them again. It's all useless. The witch has got me backed into a corner. I'm always on the defensive! That's useless, it's all useless!
Yes!
I'll spin the chessboard around.
Take a shot!
Shut-
Take a
shut-
shot!
Oh yeah! Epic anime moment.
Time to hit a blinker.
Yeah, you have to hit a blinker and take a shot every time Battler says it's time to spin the chessboard around.
Well, I have neither, so I guess I
Well-
lost.
Well, you're Battler,
Got
so...
you.
Yep. That bastard probably thinks we'll be running scared like sheep until tomorrow before we
God.
try anything.
Oh god, the narrator's dying.
Yeah.
But guess what?
That bastard can't escape this island tomorrow either. We won't be hiding away pissing ourselves. That bastard will.
Shiromi
expose you.
Battler,
You'll
voiced
see.
by Tom Kenny.
That'd be funny. Tomorrow? No, screw tomorrow. Tonight. Before tonight's over, I'll be gripping you by the collar.
Yeah, buddy. Holy freak.
Wow,
That's
now
what
he
I'm
wants
saying.
Now he wants revenge.
Yeah, he wants brovenge. Brovenge. For his bro. Oh god. At any rate, we'll lock this room and leave everything and leave everything as
Yeah.
it is until the police come.
Jack has a stroke and dies.
No objections, I take it.
Nazi just has a stroke. Immediately, a magical circle appears. What the fuck?
Wow.
Nazi, he announced it as though she didn't care whether they agreed or not. If anyone had a right to object, it would have been George, but he looked as though he'd shed enough tears. George nodded slightly, still facing away from the others, and when he stood up, everyone else agreed too.
See, I kind of care a little bit about this at least, because like George is actually like a decent human being and a nice guy.
Yeah, George got fucked.
Yeah, legit.
I really could not give a fuck that Ava is dead, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be like that.
Yeah, like I just really don't care.
What about Hideyoshi, though?
He was cool. He was
He
alright.
was cool.
But I also don't care that much.
He was always the one trying to calm people down during the
Yeah,
fight
right.
moments.
He was the
Yeah.
middleman, you know.
He was the
A
one
real
that made
peacekeeper.
George a decent human
Maybe
being.
don't fucking kill each other. I don't know.
My
That's
wife's
true,
a bitch.
actually.
My wife's
true.
a bitch, but you know she got that thing on her.
You know that thing is it's really thanging. If you know.
Yeah, she takes George aside. Now you might run into a psycho one day, but if that thing,
You at least have to tap that before you let him go. You understand?
Oh my god. That's hilarious.
Anyway, back to murder.
Yeah.
Nazi, see Nazi still hadn't opened that western envelope of the family head she picked up. But now they decided to leave this room. She decided to unseal it in the parlor where everyone could watch.
Now, I wonder if Maria's gonna be like, "Oh, freaking creepy now."
As soon as they walked out into the hallway to head back to the parlor, some of them immediately felt something out of place, or maybe something strange.
Maria's like, boo! Oh.
Stinks?
Did you notice it too, Maria?
God.
Seriously, what's that smell? It's awful.
Aftershocks covered it.
Yeah, you're smelling it too,
Yeah.
Shane, right? You're smelling it too.
Yeah, man, I be smelling that spliff, man. Oh god. Oh, that's too
Don't
much.
die. Don't die.
When everyone sniffed the air, they did notice a horrible burnt smell drifting through the hallway. One that none of them had smelled until then.
I will go quickly to check the kitchen. I'm sure I turned the flame off.
After noticing a burnt smell, it was natural that Kumasawa, who had just been using the burner in the kitchen, suspected that her own slip-up had caused it. Either that, or someone was trying to do a perm in the kitchen. Kumasawa hastily
Someone hit
dashed
the
away.
Benjamin here, Maria.
Someone cooked here.
Canon, go with Kumasawa. Do not let her be alone.
Yes.
After nodding at Genji's order, Kanon followed after her. He wasn't running, but as he followed her, he tried to search for the cause of the smell in other directions as well.
She's like, "You're not cool. Have you ever heard of
Stinks.
Benjamin?" And she pulls out the stizzy.
Oh god. It truly is a stench that makes the nose wrinkle.
How did
However,
you become a Sweeney Todd character?
that doesn't
Talk
mean...
about
Smoke on fire! City on fire! However, that doesn't mean we can just open a window for ventilation.
Natsuhi was reluctant to open the windows in a situation where self-defense was so important.
Let us run the fan. I do not believe there will be any need to open the windows.
George Aniki, is it okay if I talk to you?
Oh.
If it's about finding the culprit, then I have no problems.
Oh. Ooh. Ooh.
Is this
That's still... It's
assume
still...
it's still there?
yeah, it's still there because
Seeing
it's
the
not
door
Yeah,
saying
'cause he didn't
Aniki.
call him
to
George
climb
Aniki,
out of
right?
The abyss
Yeah.
of sorrow. All that filled his chest now was the quiet flame of hatred towards the culprit who had stolen the lives of the one he loved and his beloved parents.
The chain for this room was set. From what I could tell by looking at it, I'm positive that it couldn't have been opened from the outside. In other words, this was a perfect closed room.
That does seem to be the case. In the case of the Rose Garden storehouse, they might have sneaked the shutter's key out of the servant room. Or maybe they had a duplicate key. I can imagine many ways they could have done it. But this chain is different. Among generally used locking techniques, a chain is the simplest one to create a closed room with.
Only a chain will block everyone coming from the outside as long as it isn't physically broken. So, does this mean the culprit couldn't have gone in or out through the door?
That's interesting. Just a few hours ago, I seemed to remember everyone making a fuss over how to enter a room without using the door. Back then, we were all losing our cool, wondering how Grandfather had disappeared from his room. The receipt on Ava stuck in the door on a whim proved that he had a door that would Whoa!
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Malfunction! Malfunction! Rebooting! Okay, so... Oh, that is the same box. I was worried you went to the next one. Okay.
Alexa, play penis music.
Alexa! Alexa, play Despacito. The receipt on Ava stuck in the door on a whim proved that the door had remained sealed. And since Aunt Natsuki was the only person to enter or exit during that time, she was under suspicion. Aunt Ava proposed a theory about how Aunt Natsuki might have thrown Grandfather out the window and left the door by herself. But this door is much simpler. It was sealed from the inside by the door chain. The window had also been locked from the inside, and the bodies had been inside the room. This time it really had been, without exaggeration, a true closed room. That's right. If you include Grandfather's disappearance, 3 cases have occurred, and all 3 times, the door has been the point of interest. The first was the shutter. There was a key in the servant room, and if we assume someone knew about that, this can't really be called a closed room. The next door was the door sealed by the receipt. However, Aunt Natsuki entered that room. So if Grandfather had left through the window or been thrown out, she would have been able to lock the window before escaping. Or, like my theory, Grandfather could have hidden until the receipt was gone and left the room later. Basically, this door can be defeated with a handful of desperate tricks. In that sense, you really can't call this one a closed room either. And now, we have the door sealed with the door chain. Finally, we have to give up. The window, the door, everything had been locked. It was a perfect closed room. The first hadn't been a closed room because everyone could be suspected. The second hadn't been a closed room because Aunt Natsuki could be suspected. But this time, no one can. This was a perfect closed room because the door chain formed a seal that blocked everyone equally well.
In that case, did the culprit carry out the crime without entering the room? Some method from outside the room?
Good point. Even though the chain makes it impossible to open it wide enough for a person to fit through, you can open it in a small crack. Did the culprit knock on the door to make them peer out before attacking them? Wait, am I missing something?
Yeah, you are. If Aunt Ava's body had been lying right next to the door, then it might have been possible. But she was on the bed at the back of the room. And Uncle Hideyoshi was even in the bathroom. Looking from the crack in the door, you couldn't even see them, and you couldn't reach them with your hands either. Damn it, it's all useless! I don't have a clue! Something was tugging softly at my sleeve. It was Maria.
Bitch,
Yeah.
you better ooh in this next sentence.
You better ooh if I don't hear
If
it.
I see them eyes go wide, I'ma smack the shit out of you.
I'm very convinced that she's helping Beatrice kill everybody.
I really
I'm very
like
convinced.
how this scene is framed around the portrait because it just looks like Beatrice is looking at him.
Oh, guys, I wonder if that is foreshadowing.
Ooh?
Satisfied?
What do you mean satisfied?
Ah, god damn it.
Battler, since you didn't want to suspect any of your relatives, you made a wish, saying you wanted the culprit to be Beatrice, right? Well, Beatrice granted that wish. Just as you asked, she did something that was completely impossible for a human to make you believe in the witch. And now you're complaining? How selfish.
Punt her across the room.
Ouch!
Yes! Yes!
I tapped Maria, who was laughing unpleasantly, on the head with my fist.
Really
Sure,
hard.
thanks for granting that wish. That just now was to thank you, and also to teach you to stop laughing when it's inappropriate. More importantly, tell me. There was another mysterious scribble on the door to Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi's room. Was that another magic circle?
That one had a really memorable and characteristic design, so I'd hope you'd at least know what it was. Ouch!
I don't know, which is why I'm letting you take the credit. Quit whining and explain.
Let's go, Battler.
Let's go. Fuck.
You sure are violent, Battler. I won't tell you if you're too mean, get it? Ouch! I'll say it! I'll say it!
Yes!
Slowly. That's the first magic circle of the moon!
Are you satisfied, Shane?
Nice.
Yes, this makes me happy. Just punching her in the head.
Wow. Yeah, do not play into the creepy child stuff.
Yeah.
Get that info. What does it mean? What is this magic circle's effect? What does the Hebrew writing mean?
The words are from the Old Testament, Psalms 107, verse 16. For he has broken gates of brass and cuts through bars of iron. This magic circle has two effects. First, it can open a door regardless of which method has been used to lock it.
That sure is convenient. So you're saying they're trying to make it look like they're a witch because this closed room has a door that can't be opened without relying on magic. And the other effect?
When you're blocked by unopenable doors in all directions, it opens a door. By using it in a difficult situation, it gives you a solution you hadn't even thought of until then. Generally speaking, you receive the powers of observation and discernment, inspiration and intuition. Beatrice is trying to provoke you, since there's no way lowly humans like Battler can figure out how this door was opened. Ouch!
Okay, good work. So shut up. Sounds great. I'll accept this challenge from the witch.
Let's fucking go, Battler.
Bro's on demon time now. He is just trying to get to the bottom of
Oh
this
shit!
ASAP.
Even George is done with this shit.
That's so
Damn.
funny. That's crazy.
Marie-chan, things like witches and demons don't exist in this world. Someone killed father and mother. I don't know whether that was someone I know or not. But either way, it was definitely a human.
Yeah, but how? How did they reach those two through that crack in the door? It couldn't have been more than 10 centimeters wide. At any rate, I can hardly stand this I almost said search. The stench. What in the world could it be?
Is she just standing there while
Yeah.
Battler's punching
Yeah,
a
she
child
is.
in the head?
Yeah, she's letting it happen, man. Brape, brape.
As his third person,
Yeah.
I think so.
Kanan and Kumasama, who had gone on ahead, realized the smell wasn't coming from the kitchen, even before they arrived there. Oh yeah, because they're gonna. That was because they noticed an even thicker wave of stench rising up from the stairs leading to the basement,
Oh.
which they had passed on their way to the kitchen.
The boiler room.
I wonder if there's something wrong with the boiler again.
Those stairs led to the underground boiler room. The mansion's boiler was old and in poor condition. Both of them had witnessed problems with the boiler on several occasions, but they had never smelled the boiler belching out a stench like this before.
What was that sound?
Excuse me.
Damn.
Jeez, that one was, hit me.
I'm glad you got that out of your system, bro.
The thing they heard from the basement was definitely the sound of a door closing. Kumasawa had phrased it as a question, but she had already knew it couldn't be anything else. Kumasawa was so surprised at the sound that her knees gave way yet again and she cowered. After all, at that very moment, no one could have been in the boiler room. Just a few seconds ago, everyone had been crowded together around Eva and Hideyoshi's room. So who caused the sound of a door closing just now?
Kanon-chan!
After taking a second to sort out the situation, Cannon ran down towards the basement. Since they'd heard the sound of a door closing just now, and there was no sign of anyone coming up the stairs, the person who'd closed the door had to be inside the boiler room now. If the boiler room had been a dead end, Cannon wouldn't have rushed in so hastily. But Cannon was a servant, so he knew. There were two entrances to the boiler room that opened to the mansion, and one that opened to the courtyard. If he didn't chase them now, they might slip away. Kumasawa reached the same conclusion long after Cannon did. But she couldn't let him go alone. If the thing in the boiler room was the culprit, an opponent who had easily killed 6 adults in the first murder, and no matter how Cannon confronted them, he wouldn't be a match. Of course, with this argument, even if Kumasawa joined him, it wouldn't change anything. At any rate, after a delay, Kumasawa decided she mustn't let Cannon go alone, and she rushed down the stairs.
I like how our whole chat was like, I like Battler more after he beat up the child.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean,
I legit agree.
It's valid.
Yeah,
Dude, the
that
boiler
shit's annoying.
the boiler room looks epic.
It sure is a room.
At that time, Cannon was already in the boiler room. The boiler room's characteristic damp heat tormented him. It had always been an unpleasantly smelly and hot place. On top of that, the room was full of that horrible stench, which had made Cannon feel like he was going to be sick. There was no doubt this room was the source. Excuse me. dear Lord.
Damn.
In that case, Cannon should have been searching for where the smell was coming from. However, Cannon kept gazing straight forward as he grabbed a hatchet from a tool shelf to the side of the door.
I'm sorry, but if a niece of mine starts acting like that, I'm tapping them on the head and telling them to cut it out. That's funny.
You know, if that one of my cousins, we're Hispanic, so I would have pinched the shit out of him because that's what we had done to us in church and shit.
Nah,
like,
right?
on the
Because, like...
back of his fucking neck on the meaty part. I would have like, shut the fuck up.
Nah, because there's a middle ground, you know? Because my mom would do that to me, too. Like, you're not beating up your kid if they're, like, being stupid and you give them a little fucking thwack on the head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Because my mom would do that all the time. Like, I'd say something inappropriate in public, like, boop, right on the back of my neck, and I'm like, okay, my bad.
Yeah.
Because some
No,
kids
my
just
dad-
don't listen very well when you tell them what to do.
The dad ones are great, though. My dad I was being a little shit this whole road trip. And I was complaining when we were having to go to my uncle's, like, ceremony for something or something like that. So when we got out of the car, he faced me, he, like, leaned down. And this is the point where he wasn't doing so well, so he had his cane. But he just gave me he put his middle knuckle out and gave me a 1-inch punch with his cane.
Oh my god, damn.
Right to the chest, just knocked the wind out of me. And he was like, alright.
Oh my God. Dude.
He was like, we still have a problem? I was like, no, sir.
I think he might be Goku.
My dad was fucking crazy with that
That's
shit.
awesome.
He was just like perfectly
Fucking
every
Goku.
time.
No, he's fucking Roshi with that cane. He's like,
Pretty much, yeah. It was some Master Roshi shit.
hell yeah.
And then I stopped being a little shit.
Well,
Yeah.
it worked. Hitting your children worked.
For those watching at home, beat up your kids.
No!
Beat them to a pulp, and if they call the police, say that they attacked you and it was self-defense. Because they're children, so they can't go to jail.
No, the real advice is do the Hispanic amount of beating. That's usually fine.
Yeah, true. Where they fear you respectfully, but they don't hate you for life.
Yeah, and then give them alcohol randomly later.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it evens out, you know.
real.
So is Cannon about to die?
I don't know.
I think so. Maybe.
I don't know.
He hadn't stretched out his hand because he'd wanted to hatch it. He wanted to grab a weapon, any weapon. Why? Cannon gazed into the darkness where the naked light bulb couldn't pierce. Then, he answered.
In roulette, you bet on a number or the colors red or black, vying for a payoff. However, low-risk bets like black and red only offer a similarly low payoff.
The words coming from Cannon's mouth were swallowed up by the darkness. The darkness suddenly started to swirl, glittering. Oh shit!
Quick, the butterfly.
It was such a fantastical scene. Golden sparkling butterflies hid in the shadows all over the boiler room, flapped their wings twinkling beautifully and gathered to darkness, disappearing. Cannon continued speaking, directing his words at the darkness as it swallowed the butterflies up. They perhaps, probably, no, they would certainly laugh. The cannon continued to speak without faltering in the slightest.
However, if you bet on something with a lower probability, your payoff increases proportional to the risk. The master called succeeding despite an astronomical risk a miracle, and called the astronomical payoff gained as a result magic. I have no interest in what kind of magic you and the master were seeking when you spun that roulette, but you forgot something. You forgot that in roulette, there's a pocket that's neither black nor red.
Roulette had a special pocket called Zero, which meant that the house takes everything in certain variants of the game
I didn't know
unless
that.
you fucking bet on it. You fucking idiot. This means that all the coins bet on the table will be swept up, just as though everyone had forfeit.
I set my heart on just one thing. I decided that if Shannon were to be killed and I was left alive, I'd sacrifice this life of mine and bring this roulette of yours to ruin! This isn't one of the master's rules, and it certainly isn't one of yours. I made this rule myself. I'm not furniture anymore. I'm the zero on your roulette!
Cannon's face twisted with humiliation. It was clear that his defiance against his own weakness was being ridiculed somehow.
I'm gonna spin this roulette around.
Oh my gosh.
Stop. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Cannon's brow creased even further, and a fierce expression that he'd never shown to anyone appeared on his face. The hand grasping the hatchet was shaking. His sweat became drops which slid downward. It was clear that the emotion causing Cannon's hand to shake wasn't just anger. However, Cannon suppressed that emotion.
I won't let your words lead me astray again. This is where the demon's roulette ends.
Oh, dude, I was like, what is he saying? The stream dropped
No,
frames.
sometimes it pauses in between
Yeah.
shit like that. I don't know.
Wait another 1,000 years in hell for your next... Beatrix!
Oh,
When Cannon raised the hatchet and tried to dive into the darkness definitely sneered. It sneered at the courage as if it were vulgar, lazy, futile, and meaningless.
oh.
Oh, frick.
Oh shit.
Ew. Did he poop himself, dude?
I don't know.
Cannon, his hatchet still held a shut. Did I ask? Did I ask? You?
That was Beatrice running away. She's running away.
She hopped into the whip. Cannon, his hatchet still held aloft, couldn't take another step after that. With a clang, the hatchet he'd been grasping fell and rolled onto the floor. And following that, with a pair of thuds, Cannon's knees hit left, then right. The hand, which looked like it was trying to catch the sky now that the hatchet had been dropped, gradually lowered, landing on his chest. The other hand did the same.
Oh shit, Nix, your sub ran out. Rough. Rough.
Right there, a handle with a demon-shaped design was buried into his chest. The same type of weapon that had been stabbed into Ava and Hideyoshi's foreheads was in Cannon's chest. Cannon was curled up in anguish. Fresh blood dribbled from the corner of his mouth. It was makeup too extreme for Cannon's white skin.
Oh, the butterflies.
Around the scene, the glittering gold butterflies danced through the darkness, mesmerizing. It was beautiful, beautiful dance. A funeral march of tribute, ridicule, and contempt for a single boy's self-sacrifice. Cannon had already been prepared for his own death. But although he could do nothing but accept the death he had received, he attempted one last measure of resistance. He grasped the handle of the weapon, sticking into his chest with both hands. And gritting his teeth with acute, unearthly pain, he pulled it out.
Damn, that's raw as fuck.
For only a moment, a bright red spray gushed out. It made an unpleasant sound, which was probably resembled the sound of Cannon's soul as it was sucked into the swamp of the dead.
Damn.
Cannon's raw.
Cannon shot! Someone!
No.
Kumasawa screamed at the incomprehensible sight in front of her. Cannon, lying in a pool of blood. Kumasawa's heart was a complete mess.
What a horrible fate! He would not be killed if I had been with him! Oh, what incredible luck! If I had been with it, I might have been killed too!
As she screamed, her expression was filled with complete confusion, and all of the muscles of her face were pulled up, almost as though she was smiling while crying. But no one could have made fun of an expression like this.
Oh. What is it, Kumasawa? Answer me, Kumasawa!
The first one to dash in was Natsuhi holding the rifle. Battler and Genji dashed in after her. Normally, they probably would have started discussing the origin of that violent stench filling the boiler room. But after they saw Cannon, who was lying on the ground as if he were drowning in an ocean of his own blood, the stench wasn't important anymore.
Cannon, answer me! Genji, bring Dordonando here!
Well, I think he's dead, guys.
Yeah.
Natsuhi realized even though Cannon was on the verge of death, he was still conscious. So she sent Genji to the doctor.
Yeah, but he's not dead yet.
Natsuhi, holding the rifle aloft, faced the darkness in the center of the boiling room and shouted,
Who is hiding over there? Come out quietly! If you don't come out from there, I'll shoot without mercy!
We need light! And Natsuhi, let's light him up!
Battler, thinking quickly, took a large flashlight from the tool shelf alongside the door and used its light to cut through the darkness, and Natsuhi was glaring into him. But the light only shone on mechanical-looking piping and a door. The door had been left open by a small crack, and it was obvious that someone had left through there in a hurry.
Hey, Natsuki, where does that door go?
Genji, where does that door lead to?
In the courtyard.
Like hell, I'd let you get away, you damn bastard!
Battler let out a war cry as he slammed into the door. Cool air from outside suddenly rushed in. There were some thin, rough stairs leading up. Battler ran up them, shouting.
Wait, Battler-kun! It's dangerous to be on your own right now!
Natsuki was also rushing up the stairs, chasing after Battler. They were in the courtyard. The courtyard of the mansion had been built strictly for lighting purpose, so it wasn't a very elegant place. Because it was surrounded on all sides, the air was calm and completely undisturbed, even though they could hear the sounds of strong winds. There was only gentle, sorrowful rain. And he ran through the cold and scattered raindrops dashing up the stairs into the courtyard. Battler looked in every direction.
And Letty left. I think
Uh-oh.
his Discord fucked. You know, this is a good time for an itty-bitty break, I think. Because I need more water.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, itty-bitty break.
Goddamn.
Yeah, goddamn. We'll be right back. I'm sorry. Break!
The bitch stabbed him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I probably want to... Oh my god. Okay.
Hi.
I probably just want to go for like another 30 minutes, I think, because I probably want to get started on my other stuff and just do other things today.
Damn, okay.
Alright.
If that's alright.
Hi, guys.
Hello. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
What is it? Oh, there we go. Volume up. Alright, is this third person?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, Nix. You join like every stream, dude, so I gotta give it to you, man. Love
Careful, now you're going to have 10 million people being like, can I get sub? Can I get sub?
you. No. From you next.
No.
So real.
As he ran through the cold and scattered raindrops dashing up the stairs into the courtyard, Battler looked in every direction. Of course, the odds of him finding a suspicious silhouette just standing out in the nonchalantly were pretty much zero. Battler spun, looking all around. He turned again and again. He kept spinning until he almost lost sense of direction. Sorry, it did the thing.
No,
and
you're
I was like,
good.
did I already read that? He prayed that he would see the culprit somewhere in the scenery, but there was no chance. All he saw as he spun was more and more of the mansion's heartless walls and windows. Furthermore, there were two entrances into the mansion from the courtyard, and neither of them were locked. Because the courtyard couldn't be entered from the outside the mansion, the doors had been built without locks. He didn't know which one they had left, though. Through, rather. He had to give up. Battler pounded the wall with his fist, swearing.
Battler-kun, you must have run ahead it by yourself. Battler-kun?
Battler pressed his forehead against the wall, which he scratched at with his fingernails as he cried.
Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Haneva and Uncle Hideyoshi, and now Cannon-kun! You killed a full 6 people! And that wasn't enough, so you had to kill 3 more! Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Haneva and Uncle Hideyoshi were always kind and fun! I just met Cannon yesterday, but I'm sure I'd have gotten along fine with him! Why did you kill them? Why? Why? You know when people die, they don't come back to life again, right? They aren't gonna quickly sprout up again like bamboo shoots. Why'd you kill them? Why? Why? And then he starts to cry.
He's a little quiet, baby. It's okay.
Battler was a boy who could understand the feelings of pain and regret in a person's heart, so he cried with all his strength. Natsuki, who had always thought of Battler as a frank person, was a little surprised to find he had this delicate side. And at the same time, she understood how easily hurt the heart of a young person could be, so she held it.
It's all right. I will definitely protect you, George-kun, Maria-chan, and Jessica. As a mother, and as the representative of the Ushiromiya family.
He cries into the sky! Dude, oh my god, it's so intense.
After sobbing into Natsuhi's chest for a while, wiped the tears with a bitter smile, as though he'd been like that the whole time, and tried to appear as though he'd cried more than enough already.
Anyway, let's go back down for now. Protecting ourselves is a higher priority than finding the culprit. Tomorrow the boat will arrive. After that happens, the police will come, and everything should be brought to light. There's no way the culprit can escape this island, no matter how much they struggle.
That's right. When the police come.
Oh,
Is it him
When
now?
the seagulls cry, the crime will be
yeah,
solved.
when the seagulls... Guys, that's what it's UMINEKO!
Oh
When the seagulls cry, guys!
That's the game's name.
But for some reason, Battler felt a slight sense of uneasiness, as if the seagulls would never cry again.
When they cry, oh my god, he's crying!
True, when the typhoon passes, surely the lively seagulls will return to the harbor again.
Go,
Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah, I like Battler. He's cool.
I love Battler
Yeah,
too.
he's come around, yeah.
Yeah, well, cause he's
Besides the cousin titty stuff.
That's just he's just quirky. Okay?
Yeah.
Being quirky.
He's very like childish in a way, but not in a way that's like you don't think less of him for it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's
just
very
has a
good.
big
I
heart.
now understand what type of teenager they're trying to make him, and it makes a lot more sense. I'm like, okay, I
Yeah.
understand this character more.
Well, yeah, because he's got like the whole like kind of misfit thing in his family going on, but he still really cares about all of them.
Yeah.
He just doesn't know how to connect with them.
Yeah. And this is Battler now,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
I gotta get water, dude.
What?
Oh.
What? Excuse me.
Yeah.
Apologize.
I returned to the boiler room along with Aunt Natsuhi and told everyone weakly that we hadn't found anything. We heard that Dr. Nanjo and George Aniki had carried Canon-kun to the servant room. The servant room had a first aid kit in the sink and could apparently function as a nurse's office. Kumasawa-san had Jessica had accompanied them. Stains from Canon-kun's blood remained on the floor. Judging by the large amount of blood lost and the ruthless shape of the weapon that had fallen carelessly to the ground, I figured that Dr. Nanjo's treatment would probably end in vain. That weapon was doubtlessly the same type that had been stuck in Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi's foreheads. Oh wait, isn't the demonic design on the handle a little different? There seemed to be some small differences in that part. Still, as far as their overall shape was concerned, the weapons were all of the same type. Though it had seemed brutal, we'd left the weapon stuck into Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi to preserve the crime scene. So this was the first time we were able to have a perfect view of the entire weapon. As we had expected, the weapon was not bladed like a knife, but shaped like an ice pick. Or rather, a thin stake. And it had a spiral-shaped pattern, sort of like a drill. It looked like something that might be driven into the hearts of human sacrifices in some demonic ritual. Including the handle, it was 25 centimeters long. Half of that was the stake-shaped part, which was stained with deep red blood. The length of the blood-stained part made it clear just how deeply it must have penetrated into Canon-kun's chest. Ew, dude.
Yeah.
But Aunt Natsuhi and the rest didn't even look at the weapon, and instead stood in front of the incinerator, where the horrible stench was emanating from. They must have dragged it out. Dragged out that thing which had been burning in the furnace. It was still smoldering and kept sending out dense waves of that awfully unpleasant smell. Genji-san and Maria stared down at it. Aunt Natsuhi probably couldn't stand to look directly at it. She kept shaking her head, her back to it. I thought nothing could surprise me after everything that's happened. But this is... She stood there for a while, moaning with a rising urge to vomit. The true source of that unearthly stench was a scorched corpse that had been cooking inside the incinerator. The clothes, the surface of the body, and the hair were all hideously burned. That grotesque corpse was in a state where not the face, nor the age, nor even the gender could be guessed at. But when I thought about it calmly, I realized that a corpse appearing at this time could only be one person. It was Grandfather, who had disappeared that morning, and whose whereabouts had been unknown.
I believe it is most likely the Master.
I agree that he would pass away in such a state. It's heartrending.
But is there any proof that this corpse is really Grandfather? It's burnt so black you can't even tell what sex it is.
Adler-kun, look at the feet.
And Natsuhi, with her handkerchief over her mouth and her eyes averted, pointed and told me to look at the burnt corpse's feet.
Notice how the 6 toes on each foot.
Huh? Ah. You're right. Just as Genji-san had said, there were 6 toes on each foot. Each individual toe had looked so normal in its line that I hadn't noticed.
Let's go, 6 toes.
He's a freak!
He's a
Oh my god!
freak!
The Master was born with 6 toes on both of his feet. Consequently, the Master was entrusted with the revival of the Ushinomiya family.
I have heard that since long ago. Cases of
Polydactyly.
polydactyly were common in the Ushinomiya family. It's probably hereditary. Damn, they got them
Maybe you should
extra
stop
grippers.
fucking each other's cousins.
Weird.
Real.
Polydactyly. Guys, let's all say it 5 times fast.
Polydactyly.
You didn't do it, did you? Polydactyly literally means many fingers. Because of a little mistake by God, when the person is born, one of their toes or fingers splits into 2, and the total number increases. But a big deal isn't usually made of polydactyly in the world at large. That's because it isn't a disease, just something people are born with. So while they're still babies, at about the time they turn 1 year old, they can be taken to the hospital and given surgery to make them normal. Even a child with polydactyly can't be treated before they become aware, so they might not even remember it themselves. By the way, it seems that there's a possibility for this to occur in 1 out of every 2,000 babies, so even though it's not usually seen, it isn't that rare at all. Speaking of which, I think Uncle Hideyoshi mentioned something to me long ago. Something about how even Toyotomi Hideyoshi, the man who unified Japan at the end of the Sengoku period, had 6 fingers on 1 hand. According to Aunt Natsuhi, among the many Ushinomiya family heads, the ones most praised for their wisdom all had polydactyly. Because of that, when Grandfather was born, his relatives were all excited at the thought that he might become another wise leader. And when the leading relatives all died in the Great Kanto earthquake, it was apparently argued that Grandfather should be the one to restore the family, because of the auspicious sign of his birth. If Grandfather hadn't disliked his position as the head so much, the 6th toe probably would have been pretty lucky for him. Come to think of it, I've heard about some country where it's believed people with polydactyly should be treated as gods and revered. This is besides the point, but it's fairly common in mystery novels for a corpse to be burned to hide its identity. But I guess that in Grandfather's case, just toasting him wouldn't be enough. And Grandfather's body was not simply burnt. It was just like on Eva and Uncle Hideyoshi, and the thing that had been stabbed into Kanen's-kun's chest.
Hold on.
Kanen's-kun's.
Huh. There's a lot of gouging happening here.
Head and kill,
Yeah,
chest and kill. Huh.
So, wait. So, that means we're already up to what? Shouldn't we be on gouge the stomach and kill?
Probably, yeah.
That's next, yeah.
So when did the 3rd Twilight thing happen? Those who remain shall praise my noble name.
I don't know.
Huh.
Because I think it might be time to finally start unpacking this a little bit, because
Yeah.
all right, when it says because it hasn't been a literal 10 days,
Wait,
so
guys!
we can't. What?
Wait, okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I realized what the Praise My Noble Name could have been. Was that the servants in the kitchen being like, Beatrice exists! Beatrice!
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking too. That's why I'm saying we have enough
Mm.
details to possibly start actually working on the riddle.
Mhm.
Because we know that it's been more, or it's been less than the actual amount of days that it says. So the word like twilight and saying, you know,
Probably
first,
hour?
second twilight, that can't be taken literally, right?
Yeah, probably.
Like, probably we shouldn't take it literally.
Yeah, probably
Does the twilight refer to when the butterflies appear?
I mean,
Maybe.
I'm maybe thinking hours. I don't know.
Well, because we haven't seen the butterflies 6 times, right?
Yeah, I don't. I honestly don't know what twilights mean.
Because like, well, that's like the beginning of it all, right? Because if we can figure out like what is you know, the twilight, then
How long is the twilight period? Let me Google that.
I don't know. Well, Nyx is saying it's just meaningful occurrences, maybe. Like they don't have to
can we
happen
think of
in a
6
specific.
Can we think of 6 meaningful occurrences?
Well, I mean, like I think all of it has to be chosen by Beatrice. I guess.
What do you mean?
Like, if we were to say that Beatrice is the one doing all of these, then she's the one that's enacting them. Because she definitely, well, to us, the reader, she definitely enacted the one where Cannon died, which was the chest.
Yeah.
Yeah, but look, I mean, of course we're supposed to assume this is Beatrice because she's the one who's doing what the riddle says to do and killing everybody for sacrifices so that she can get the gold. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, here, can you pull it back up?
Eh.
What? This is part of the game, dude. I'm actually really interested in this.
Yeah, Nick said that they can't find a pattern with that that would fit the Twilight thing.
Well, because I was thinking, how many people have died so far?
Okay,
9?
The initial 6, the 2 more, now canon 9. Yeah.
Yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah. Okay. So, the Twilights cannot be referring to like just when someone dies either. It's like something else happens and then you will die. Like, there's got to be like a common through line somewhere, right?
I don't know.
Because like this is the part of mysteries I like, trying to like solve it before the characters do.
Mm-hmm.
Because like if it's a good mystery, then all the pieces should be there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here, let's see. Because the 6 chosen be the key as sacrifices, right? So that was when she killed all the adults at the beginning, right? The 6 chosen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Nyx. But yeah.
Well, you know what? Fine. If you guys are gonna be doomers about it, then let's just keep going.
Well, what the frig? You keep going.
I haven't said shit.
Yeah, what the
I
frig?
know,
You
and
keep going.
I appreciate you. But we got Chat and her over here being like,
Not her.
Well, maybe we can't figure it out yet. And you know what? I don't agree with that.
Well,
You know,
maybe we
negative
can.
mindset.
How do you know?
You know?
What's your theory, big
Wow,
shot
see,
boy?
dude, I was literally saying it just now. Because look, it's like on the first night, because that's when she killed all the adults, so that's the 6 chosen sacrifices, right? And then those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close. So all of the people around them casting suspicion, that's got to be like Natsuhi and Ava when they have their little beef, right? Because like I don't know.
Yeah, because
Do you
it
think
may
when
not
it's-
even mean close to each other. Those 2 are the ones who were closest to the
I mean, I was. Oh,
fortune. Maybe.
goodbye,
Oh.
goodbye,
Lanny.
Lanny. I was thinking of it being
Goodbye.
George and Shannon.
So I was thinking, but they were already. She was one of the 6 already chosen.
No, I mean like. Yeah, like with the time nicks, like it isn't necessarily like hourly, like linear like that.
Bro, my Discord crashed again.
Yep.
So lame.
But I was saying that the two who are like share the part. The two who are close was probably George and Shannon.
Well, Shannon was already chosen in the initial 6.
I mean, that still tore them apart, right?
Well, I mean,
But
that's
that's on the
true.
second
It could
Twilight.
be, but I'm also thinking, like, when you look at the very first sentence, those who obtain the key must then travel to the Golden Land. That's talking about, you know, getting the money, right? So, alternatively, you could view the second Twilight as tearing apart those who are closest to the gold, which at that time would be Natsuhi and Ava.
I mean,
Yeah, that's what
maybe.
I just. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Maybe.
Because they're the closest to the inheritance.
Yeah, right?
Because I feel like then that makes sense when you get to the third one,
Because, like you were talking about, those who remain, like the vast majority of people, except for Battler, are entertaining the idea of Beatrice, right? And then it's gouge the head, gouge the chest, gouge the stomach.
Gouge your mum.
Yeah, so I guess at that point, because we obviously can't, like, we can't solve it, but I'm assuming that, like, you know, to like get the summoning correct, you know, you have to do all of it like this specific way and kill how it says to kill, right? I'm assuming. I don't know, dude. I'm still not convinced that Maria is not the murderer, to be honest. I really think that I think it could totally be her and Beatrice in cahoots.
That'd be
I
epic.
think that's a definite possibility. Yeah.
Yeah, because she's fucking psycho. Okay. Right. Okay. Did I read the?
I don't think you
did I
read
read this
this.
from the beginning, or do I
No.
need to start over?
I don't think you read this yet.
Okay. Okay. And grandfather's body was not simply burnt. It was just like on Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi's, and the thing that had been stabbed into Cannon-kun's chest. I just, you know, as I read it, I remembered that I did, but
Well,
that's the funny part, I think. One of those demon ice picks was stuck into his forehead.
the head's ring is not on his finger.
so this letter last night was telling the truth. Father would probably be horribly disappointed.
Natsuhi-san let her head droop and... wait, yeah.
Yeah.
And let her head droop and closed her eyes tightly. I don't know why that one tripped me up. It was hella confusing for me. This room had also become a vital crime scene for us to hand over to the police. It was decided that we would leave Grandfather's corpse here and lock the room, sealing it. It isn't clear when Grandfather's corpse started burning in the incinerator. Since, according to Genji, the strength of the flames hadn't been that strong, the body must have started burning a long time ago. So that stench could slowly creep out of the furnace and fill the room bit by bit, eventually pouring out and climbing up the staircase.
Wow.
Putting aside whether he was rare or well done, Grandfather had been brought out, killed, and burned. Even though he had started out locked away in the closed room created by his auto-lock. There's probably no doubting this. However, according to Genji-san, the boiler room is usually locked. The possibility that someone outside our group had snuck in and committed the crime was overwhelmingly high. And there was also a good chance that this person was walking around with something like a master key. After all, the doors and windows throughout the mansion had been checked. But despite that, the culprit was able to strut around the mansion freely. Dude, I also think that Genji has potential to be involved somehow too. I'm not super trusting him as well. Because he's always like conveniently not involved with anything ever. You know what I mean? Like he's always just kind of there. Does this crime confirm that a 19th person exists? There's still that contradiction, since they're trying to tout their existence without ever showing themselves once.
Oh, this 80s horror movie music.
Yeah, it's fire.
Along with Kyrie-san's chessboard theory, I've been using this contradiction to deny the existence of a 19th person. Oh yeah, this is a good song.
Damn.
See, especially when Battler talks about it like this, it's really making me think that, like, Beatrice is basically, like, using Maria's body as, like, a conduit for her spirit, because she's, like, she's got, like, super Esper, you know? A super Asper, perhaps.
True. Real.
By spinning the chessboard around once more, the very fact that this crime makes it perfectly obvious that a 19th person exists means that the existence of the 19th person is even less plausible. As long as the 19th person doesn't show themselves in front of us, if the culprit could get Grandfather out through the door sealed by the receipt, if they could kill Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi from the other side of a door sealed by a chain, then could they possibly go so far as to create a fictional 19th person through strange tricks and devices? If we still want to believe that the culprit is among the 18, then the list of suspects has grown very short. The four of us kids, and Natsuhi, Genji-san, Kumasawa Bachan, and Dr. Nanjo. One of these people has to be the culprit. Wait, we can't be sure of that. Just a second ago, we started doubting whether the corpse here was actually Grandfather's, right? Maybe we can think of the other bodies in the same way. For example, the first 6 all had their faces horribly smashed. Some of the bodies had kept enough of their faces for us to confirm who they were, but that old bastard, for example, had lost his entire face, as though the whole thing had been neatly peeled off. We only figured out which body was which by their clothes and surroundings. Did the culprit prepare a fake body beforehand and alter it to make it look like they died, even though they were actually hiding somewhere after committing the crime? It may sound ridiculous, but it wouldn't be an impossible trick to pull off. It's too early to give in to this 19th person. No, this witch.
Yeah. Maria-chan, you mustn't stare so fixedly anymore. Come on, Battler Kun too. I'm worried about Cannon's condition, and we mustn't remain in a place like this any longer than necessary. Let us return.
Maria didn't go out with everyone else, but remained in the boiler room. The thing she was staring so fixedly at probably wasn't Grandfather's body, but the demon's ice pick sticking out of his forehead. It was probably the sort of item that an enthusiast couldn't bear to ignore. I tapped her on the head. Hey, Maria, what's Beatrice after? Is it all of our lives?
Beatrice will arrive very soon. At that time, none shall be left alive.
How can you laugh at something like that? Do you think you're the only one who's safe? Why don't you feel like you're in danger? Why aren't you scared?
Beatrice made a promise. She said she's gonna take me to the Golden Land. It's a wonderful place where you have no obligations, everyone's always together, and everyone is always nice to everyone else. I'm looking forward to it. That time will come very soon now.
Just what kind of person is Maria? I only know what Maria was like 6 years ago when she was 3. She was once pure and obedient, a good kid. This new Maria 6 years later and the Maria I knew didn't seem to fit together. Just who is she? This witch who calls herself Maria. To Maria, who obstinately believes in the witch, this series of unsolvable crimes is proof that the witch actually exists. Every time something occurs that would be difficult for a human, it becomes a little harder for the rest of us not to believe in Beatrice. It must be an intense pleasure for Maria to see her relatives who once firmly denied the witch's existence start acknowledging that witch's existence one by one. Is that why she's in high spirits? Maria, let me just ask this one more time. You'll probably answer the same anyway, but I'll ask just once more. Yesterday, you were given a letter in the Rose Garden. Who gave it to you?
Like I said, Beatrice. Battler still doesn't believe.
Maria only repeated what she had already said. Maria met with the 19th person, the witch. Was that really a 19th person, or did one of the 18 just get her to say that? All that's certain is that Maria has been with the rest of us constantly, has always had an alibi, and hasn't done anything suspicious. She's simply overjoyed at being made Beatrice's messenger, and certainly isn't the 19th person. Supposedly. That's right. I wonder what's written in that letter we picked up in Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi's room. And Natsuki should still have it with her.
Oh. Bing! Oh god! The clock keep moving! The clock keep moving!
早上好生活，先刷有冰淇淋，完成为冰淇淋练习。
Why do you know all of that?
It's a good meme. Alright, is that our call?
I
Because I'm not
mean,
gonna lie, my voice is getting a bit hoarse.
well, I mean, if you're calling it.
Yeah, my throat hurts. I think I would be okay with that.
Okay, we'll never know what's in the letter until next
You're right.
time.
Chat, we're gonna
Next
quit streaming this now.
time.
I guess.
I said until
Well, we'll
next time.
But how could we never know if we will
Until
know
next
eventually?
time.
But it's not never. It's just
We'll
until
never
next
know
time. Then.
until next. I know it's Jover Nix. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's so Jover.
Jova.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for joining us on the stream. Hope you had fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See you guys next week.
See you
Punch
next
your
week.
local child in the head today.
Yes.
So real. Okay, fellas. Have a good night. Goodbye.